This is Mount Plus Logistics, simplifying your product sourcing, packaging, and shipping across Nigeria, Canada, and China.
All right, let's jump right in. We're doing a deep dive today into importing shoes from China. We'll equip you with the knowledge you need for your potential business venture.
Awesome.
Our guide for this deep dive is someone named Umura.
Okay.
They're an importer themselves, where they share their experience. It's like, getting a peek behind the curtain
Yeah.
of a real business.
I think it's always fascinating to see people who are actually doing it, right? Like, we can talk about the theories and stuff,
Right.
but to hear from someone who's actually on the ground, dealing with the ins and outs,
Exactly.
always super valuable. But of course, we also always have to remember to, consider the source, especially when the source, might be trying to build an audience.
Of course.
And maybe even, eventually sell a course or something like that.
For sure. Well, Umura is very upfront
Okay.
about the profitability of importing from China.
Okay.
In fact, they really emphasize that they want to share impactful and profitable information,
Uh-huh.
not just create content, right?
Sure.
For the sake of it. But then they hit us with a little bit of a reality check.
Okay.
Profit margins, especially when starting out, can be pretty slim.
Yeah, this is where I think the details get really interesting. So they actually break there,
Yes.
an example, the cost of a bag that they import and sell, right?
Okay.
So the bag itself costs 49 RMB. That's about 10,241 naira.
Okay.
And then you've got 2 yuan for local shipping in China, an estimated 1,500 naira for international shipping, and then another 300 naira for local transport.
Wow.
Once it gets to Nigeria. So all in, we're looking at a total cost of 12,459 naira.
Gotcha.
They sell the bag for 15,000.
Okay, so 2,500 naira profit.
Exactly.
Not exactly a gold mine
Not huge.
on each individual sale.
Right. And I think that's where their approach of, what they call mini importation becomes really important, right?
Okay.
It seems like they're not necessarily aiming for huge profits on single items, but rather focusing on selling, smaller quantities to a broader customer base.
Got it.
So that's where working with wholesalers becomes really key for them, because they can kind of offset those slim profit margins with higher sales volume. Now, this raises a really interesting question for you, right?
Yeah.
If your business model, let's say it doesn't involve selling in bulk, how would you adapt? Right? Maybe you need to explore different pricing strategies or target a niche market that allows for higher markups.
Right, yeah.
So it's something to think about
Definitely.
as you're going through this process.
Absolutely.
Now, another thing that Umura really emphasizes is the need for sufficient starting capital. They suggest at least 200,000 naira.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. Especially considering these tight margins that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Having that financial cushion, it can really help you ride out those fluctuations in currency exchange rates.
For sure.
Unexpected shipping delays, maybe even product returns.
Yeah.
It's about building in a safety net.
Absolutely.
To your business plan.
Right.
Right. You're going to need to cover your initial inventory costs,
Uh-huh.
shipping fees,
Right.
and potentially marketing expenses as well.
And speaking of shipping,
Yes.
Umura warns that it can be expensive. And finding the right shipping company is crucial.
Yeah, this is where it can get a little bit tricky, especially with shoes, right?
Right.
Think about it. You're dealing with various sizes,
Yeah.
potentially delicate materials.
Oh, for sure.
You need secure packaging.
Right.
It's not as simple as just like stuffing a few bags into a shipping container, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So all those factors can really affect shipping costs, delivery times, and ultimately impact, your bottom line.
Makes sense.
Now, another interesting point that Umura brings up is the importance of bargaining.
Okay.
They actually talk about haggling over even a single yuan when buying in bulk,
Wow.
which sounds, maybe a little bit extreme, but
It's those little things that add up,
it adds up exactly.
especially when you're talking bulk.
Especially in bulk, exactly. Now, this is a really great example of where cultural awareness, I think, becomes really essential.
Yes.
Negotiating in Chinese business culture, it's often about building relationships,
Right.
finding common ground, working towards, a mutually beneficial agreement.
Got it.
It's less about, aggressive tactics and more about building trust,
I see.
showing respect for the other party.
So diving headfirst into those negotiations without understanding those cues could be a costly mistake.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's important to kind of, understand the lay of the land before you jump in.
For sure. Now, Umura mentions a platform called 1688,
Okay.
a massive Chinese e-commerce platform. Similar to Alibaba, but more focused on domestic trade within China.
Uh-huh.
They advise against buying from random people on 1688.
Interesting. Why is that?
That's a great question, right? Because not all suppliers are created equal.
Right. So how do you tell the reliable ones from the rest?
And that brings us to Umura's advice on vetting suppliers, which we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive. We were just talking about 1688 and how, you got to be careful about who you choose as a supplier.
Right. Yeah. Not just picking someone randomly.
Definitely not. But how do you find those good suppliers, the reliable ones? Umura has some advice on vetting suppliers. And it goes way beyond, like, just reading reviews.
It's really interesting how they talk about being proactive, really doing your due diligence.
Okay.
And they suggest taking this, like, investigative approach.
Like a detective almost.
Yeah, exactly. So they say go beyond those, like, generic marketing materials.
Okay.
Ask for real videos, real pictures of the products, and even, like, video calls with potential suppliers.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was a really interesting point.
Yeah, to get a feel for who you're working with.
Right, exactly. It's almost like interviewing them.
Like a job interview, yeah.
Yeah. See if they're a good fit for your business. And then, get this, they even suggest, if possible, sending an agent to the supplier's warehouse.
Whoa, that's next level.
It is. It might seem like a lot, but, it can give you that firsthand insight.
You're right, especially with shoes.
Yeah.
To actually see the production, the quality control.
Absolutely. I mean, you want to make sure those shoes, they're durable, they're well made, right?
Right, absolutely. Now, Umura shares this story, right, about a supplier who was dodging their questions, dodging the vetting.
That's a big red flag, right?
Definitely.
Evasive behavior like that, it suggests they might be hiding something.
Makes sense.
Maybe poor quality products or, some shady business practices.
If it sounds too good to be true, right?
Exactly.
It probably is.
And that's a really crucial lesson for you, I think.
For sure.
Trust your gut. If a supplier seems hesitant, not giving you the info you need,
Move on.
move on. There are plenty of other suppliers out there.
Plenty of fish in the sea, right?
Exactly. Ones that are going to be transparent and eager to work with you. So let's dive into some of those specifics, like what Umura actually recommends for vetting suppliers.
Okay.
They talk about requesting detailed product specifications.
Okay, makes sense.
Verifying business licenses. And checking online forums, see if other buyers have had good or bad experiences.
So it's like building a solid foundation for your business.
Exactly. Minimizing those risks and giving yourself the best shot at success.
It might seem like a lot of work up front, but
Oh, it's way better than dealing with the headache later.
Totally.
If you end up with a bad supplier. Umura also suggests digging even deeper.
okay.
Like looking for industry certifications, seeing if the supplier's been mentioned in trade publications, or even contacting some of their previous clients for references.
Wow.
So it's really about doing your homework, right?
Due diligence, like you said.
This is your business, your investment, your reputation's on the line.
It shows you're serious.
Right.